Today we'll bring the Quokka and the flying foxes together in this wonderful aviary. Stick with me if you want to see how this is done. Let's go. Okay, let's get going today's episode with actually some lovely stuff building. So we have to bring in actually stuff buildings in here. They will be hidden away in the rock facade, so to say. They will be hidden in full rock. I gotta admit though, I just figured that while editing the episode, I forgot to put in a door for that one and also a door for the viewing dome. I'll add that later. But this video is hopefully a bit more laid back for you, a bit more chill, because I need to talk about a couple of things. And today's episode is all focused on doing a very, very detailed and cozy little aviary section for the Quokka actually and the wonderful flying fox. Now, the flying fox obviously need to be contained somehow, and I figured this time around we could use the new netting pieces. Even though that has been a struggle, I can only say. I'm always more and more impressed by the likes of Haribo, Lider and Co. They always do certain insanely detailed aviaries with perfect netting, and how much of a struggle that is, I tell you. I could not really do it perfectly fine at the very end of the day, but I think we got to a level where it looks pretty good. I would need to fix a couple of edges, and I have some criticism about the new netting pieces. The new netting pieces, as awesome as they look and as awesome as it is that you can recolor them, they have a very certain distinct angle to them, and the angles for some odd reasons don't really work together that well. So I'm not entirely happy, gotta say. It's a little bit weird. Like these hanging ones, like these drop down ones, they look fantastic, but you can only use them in the right angle, and otherwise it just looks weird. And you can't really fix them because you don't have netting pieces to connect them. So I wish Frontier would always give us some corner pieces and edges too for the nettings, or just give us like a rope that is as thin as the netting itself, so we could at least do some edges on our own. That would be perfect, but you know, it's not in here. Now, in the background, you'll see now a lot of planting, and I really tried to make it as lush as possible over here. The Quokka is going to roam around later on, as you've seen at the beginning of the episode, but you'll see that in the wonderful tour at the end as well. And we will also have the final transition of the whole building process yet again. So the one we started this whole series with will be translated into a final little, moving image, how this whole island came together. I gotta say, I'm very happy with the result, but that is the perfect segue into what I want to talk about. Now, I have made this little poll on my channel, and you've maybe seen that yesterday, where I asked you guys why on earth you didn't see these videos, or what is the reason for why you guys didn't see the video. So let me put this straight. I love this build, and I love the DLC, honestly. But these videos taken together are my worst ever performing videos on Planet Zoo with any update available. Like it's really, even the animal packs, which usually don't really do on YouTube that well, have been much better performing. In fact, all the episodes combined have less views than a normal episode I made for, I don't know, the penguin or so. It's really not that easy to compare, I understand, but still, I have to say it's a little bit weird because, and that is the interesting bit about it, the feedback, the retention rate and the click rate has been rather decent for the videos. So the question I had is YouTube maybe not promoting my videos? What is going on? And I remember Lady had some similar issues, and other, let's say not bigger creators, but some, I'm not a big creator, but I'm bigger than other Planet Zoo creators, for example. And it seems like YouTube, and they have mentioned that recently, that they are intentionally pushing smaller creators, like creators between 5 to 20k subs. And you can really see that many people told me they haven't seen any of my videos in the last couple of weeks. So if for whatever reason you watch the video and you feel the same, you haven't seen some of my other videos, please comment this down below. I will actually reach out to YouTube and ask them what is going on. So every single bit of feedback is very valuable for me, because I love doing content. I want to improve every single time. I'm not sure if you have, seen that recently, but I try to improve my intros, I try to improve my overall video editing, I try to improve making the video more enjoyable for you guys with new music. I'm trying different music styles and all these kind of things to make the video a lot more enjoyable for you. I upped my microphone settings a little bit, I try to do the commentary a bit more straightforward, like all these things. I would say my videos are at least 20 to 25% better than half a year ago, yet they don't really perform at all. And that said, I'm I'm still doing all the things you should do, like trying a good intro, trying to make titles and thumbnails that are kind of activating without being clickbaity, and yet nothing works in a way that I'm not even... Like, it's totally fine. My channel runs fine. It's just like I want to reach out to YouTube and tell them, hey, what are you doing? Why are you intentionally hiding away videos from people who may actually want to see them? It's not even like people say, hey, this video is crap, I don't want to see that, which would be fine. You know, if people told me, hey, you know what, that's boring, the build is boring, I don't care. Hey, that's fine. That's valid and good criticism, and I can work with that. But people have been super happy about this. I've done polls in Discord, I've done polls on YouTube, I've been asking people in the videos. It's hilarious to see that YouTube is actively hiding that from people, and I'm really wondering why. So if you, for whatever reason, are in this video now till this point in time, first of all, hey, thumbs up to you. If you skipped here, what are you doing? This is something I really do appreciate. So if you had anything like that, like maybe didn't see any notifications or whatnot, let me know in the comments. I will screenshot that and forward this to YouTube so they have to look into that and give me some feedback for what I can do better. Because at the end of the day, this is a lot of work I spent doing into it. And I wanted to talk about this. You can see me doing the aviary and struggle with the ropes right now, which is a perfect example of why I wanted to mention this in today's video, because I've also had along the comments that this doesn't work pretty well and they haven't seen the videos and whatnot. There's one thing I wanted to specifically highlight, and this is people said this time around that this is a rather straightforward build for me and not too... how do I say that? Not too creative in terms of how I use the pieces. Like normally I try to come up with different videos for the DLCs that do something different from the usual. Now, the fun bit is lately in all the last update videos, I have checked who had the best performing update videos, and nearly every single video that has performed well in the last month has been a straightforward build with the pieces available to give the people the maximum inspiration with the pieces given. Usually I don't do this. Usually I'm like all the way into doing crazy stuff with it. And then I got feedback. Let me just give this to you. You know, I'm just mirroring what I get as feedback. And then I got the feedback that people said, you know what, that's a little bit too intricate. I don't build that detailed. It would be way more interesting and cool if you can give me like a straightforward build and maximize the pieces given without doing too crazy stuff with it. So I did this time, and now the feedback is, you know, it's been a little bit too straightforward. So whatever you do it wrong, I guess. But I have to say, and this is, I think at the end of the day, this is the most important bit, do you enjoy it yourself? Because if I wouldn't enjoy it myself, I potentially wouldn't have the power or the will, and also not the time, or I wouldn't take the time to do this. But this time around I did, and I loved this straightforward build. I think in terms of the Rudi-listic zoo, this is a pretty Rudi-listic Oceania island. This is how it could be done in zoo. I have to do a bit of infrastructure cleanup at the end. This is something that is super good for a live stream, so maybe we'll do that on the next live stream. Just cleaning up a couple of things, putting in a bit of backstage, you know, making sure it gets that realistic feel to it. But let alone this roof or this netting took like a good 2.5 hours until I was done with the netting. And as I said, it's not even perfect at this point. I do have to do some cleanup over here as well. But I think the idea behind this looks super good. Now, the last bit we're doing is blending stuff together with the existing infrastructure. And this is something I love doing because the new pieces give you a lot of freedom, making the coolest little transitions, I should say, because also here you can see the usage of the lava rock for a tiny shelter. This almost looks like the lion shelter from Zoo Tycoon, the original kind of stone shelter. That basically the first one I ever used is this kind of lion rock shelter that you put down in Zoo Tycoon 1, and this is like the miniature version of it for the Quokka. And then I just put a couple of other things in here to make the transition, and I used a path piece with the bark and stuff in the ground to make that look. And I think it just turned out looking fantastic. And obviously, yeah, putting down a couple of enrichment items here and there, making sure that our Quokkas are in the right spaces, which you'll see in the tour, they are, so that's kind of cool. And obviously also trying to grant them some privacy, using some of the new sails, just to make sure that they have a good spot to go. Like about the flying foxes, you know, I did what I did. I couldn't do too much more about this other than putting down a couple of you know, trees here and there. But I have to say, and this is huge props to the design department of Frontier in terms of this walkthrough exhibit, they did a much better job with the enrichment pieces for the Flying Fox, or shall I say the upgrade pieces for the walkthrough exhibit. a lot better than last time. You can style it a lot more simple because, you know, there is not that pre-themed. Like with the sloth, for example, it was super awkward because it has been super pre-themed and you couldn't really do much about it. And the locks they used were actually not the same size as the locks we had in the game, so you couldn't really hide them. It was a bit awful, you know, but this time this is a lot more simple. You know, you've got some straight poles, you can just put some palms in there and you're good to go. So that's what I did essentially. And speaking of palm trees, I went a lot more bold this time around, as I said, on foliage in general. And I think this really adds to this Oceania island. And I think it really looks super cool. The only thing I did not really pay too much attention to, gotta say that, is the realism in terms of what will grow here. Even though if that's like a temperate zoo, which would be a tiny bit more to the southern part of Europe, like Central Europe, I don't know, maybe Bavaria even, or maybe it's kind of the north of Italy or so. Realistically, I think stuff like that would grow here anyways. And if you're like a zoo who can actually take care of it a bit more, just meaning some of these plants might actually be in a pot that is lower down into the ground, so you can just kind of help it in the winter to survive. That would realistically work rather easy because, you know, climate change made the temperate region of Europe already quite decent for those type of plants for the winter time. So that is simply something to keep in mind. Like 50 years ago, maybe that wouldn't have been possible, but by now, I think with a bit of care, this is actually all doable, and even with the stuff given, wouldn't be too unrealistic to have that. Then I figured that this new bush is also pretty cool for some water plants, you know, as if there's something overgrown. I mentioned that last episode. I found this a little bit too clean, so I throw all these things in to make sure it looks a bit more weathered and a bit more, you know, stuff in there. The only thing I left and spared out, obviously, is the penguin habitat. And last but not least, I did keep I just made the last little bit that was still open nicely themed with some foliage for the pathway that will eventually lead into the next area of this wonderful Rudilistic zoo. Not sure what exactly this is gonna be. I might add to that. I'm really not sure exactly what the next realistic habitat is. If you have an idea for an animal that you want to see a realistic habitat out of, and this time around we are more back into the simple, more modern zoo type of vibe. So if you want to see something like that, let me know in the comments down below. You know, this zoo doesn't really not have too many animals. I am kind of looking into the king penguin because of all the new color morphs, but you tell me in the comments, because now we go over to the transition, and this is how the whole island has started. As you can see, click by click, we're getting there, and now you can see the huge click into the finishing touches. There you can see this is how the penguin looked in between, and now you can see the netting appear. There you go, and now we move over, and while we transition, you can see the whole thing in its full glory, foxes flying around. And, you know, I just really love how this all turned out. If we fly over here, looks all pretty cool, doesn't it? But yeah, so that's been it with my voiceover. In a second, I hand you over to the real-time Rudi, and I hope you enjoyed this build so far. If you did, as always, you know the drill. But now I hand you over to the real-time Rudi. Enjoy the tour. Alright, so this is going to be the full tour of our Oceania island, and we're going to go right in without further ado. There is a little Quokka sign. I just found this too cute, and so this was the Oceania island entrance sign. So you'll see how this all panned out. With all the planning that went into it at the beginning, you now see that I had the vision in my mind all the time. So it's kind of cool to see this actually working out right now. So we do have the kiwis in here. Look at that one over here, by the way. I love this one. This is so beautiful with the white stripes on the back, and you know, just in general, this habitat looks really cool. There's one also having some speckles, white things on it. Really do love that. Also, you know what, I'm just gonna put down the music a little so you guys actually can hear a bit more of the game, because it's really good, and I wanna give you the chance to hear everything. So on the left hand side, our first habitat, the little blue penguin. There you can see one having a little sip here of the water. I mean, not that they have not enough water, but there you go. We've got the little underwater viewing down here. We've got the one bubble over here. where they can see we have another viewing opportunity now on the other side. It's not fully enclosed right now. This is something I will do with a future habitat in the realistic habitats. We've got our little shop in the middle now finished with everything, you know, even have like a little vending machine. And once we go around here, you can see there's another wonderful viewing inside of the kiwi habitat. Really do love it. And the further we go in, there is the Tasmanian devil habitat. You can see one floating in water. The other one is there in the back sniffing something. And the further you go around, I'm just going to show this to you over here, but we'll go back. Oops, that was like an autosave. We can have a little peekaboo in here. Not sure if we can see anyone. Let's have a little look. It doesn't seem quite like. So they seem to be on the other side, or maybe they're chilling in one of their little huts. I don't know, but you can see there is the new netting over here, this huge aviary kind of thing. Where also the quokkas do live in. So we do actually go around the other side. Oh, look at all the viewings over here. Oh, I forgot to put down a door. This is something I definitely should have done, because on this side there is actually a door. I did put one there you can see. This one over here should be another entrance to the bubble. Forgot. But yeah, so this is that. And once you open this one over here, like this is the idea. You just open that one, go in, and then damn, you are in here. And do you hear like the wings like flapping? Oh, that is so good. So cool. So cool. Really love it. Yeah, you can see this is then the inside. Look at that. There's a quokka sitting just in the middle of the street. They even have like this little hut over here where they can chill. This is like their little outlet over here. There is something where they can hide if they want to, like giving them a bit of privacy. This is like where the animals are above. Like really, I think this is really turning out to be one of my coolest builds in terms of aviary style. Like with the new netting pieces, this all looks fantastic. Even though you can see some little issues here and there. I have to say, I will have to play around a little bit more with these pieces. I did not really find the right way to connect them all. Something is odd about these pieces. Like they do have certain issues when it comes to putting them together, because like they are not like fully nice when it comes to how they connect to each other. I just don't really know what it is. Look at that. There's a little quokka enjoying the little bubbles. Oh, look at that. Really lovely. Really lovely. Are you playing with the bubbles though? Or are you just staring at them? This is so tiny. Like, look at how big the bubble machine seems next to the quokka, but just because the quokka is so tiny. Also, you know, we have also some of these lovely little things, enrichment items embedded in here. I saw this on Facebook, in a Facebook group, that someone did like a pile of ropes, and I found this was like a little cool detailed element. We also have this enrichment piece used to make some plants in front of it. I mean, they don't need this and they can't use it, but this is that. Putting a couple of things in the water also to make it look a bit more overgrown. And then you go over here, you can see a lot more. You can actually go through here, and there are the little foxes having a little drink here, and the rest are like flying around here everywhere. I tried my best to really avoid putting pieces where they fly. You will see a couple of glitches here and there, but other than that, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Like, as you can see, I used some of the trees to hide certain things away, and the fruits and stuff, so it looks a lot more integrated this time around. Also, I used these baskets to put some ferns in, as you can see here and there. Really made sure that this works. So we've got the fruits over here where they look at that one. This is like yum yum nom 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 nom. Some of the little fruits. Nom 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 nom. Are you enjoying that little fruit? Is that good? Oops. Where am I? Ooh, there you go. Nom 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 nom. Mmm. Tasty. Look at that one. So yeah, really cool how this all works out. And then over here you have also the quokkas roaming around potentially somewhere. I don't know. This is the gate. You know, I couldn't really do much about it. I needed to put a gate somewhere. So we have this little weird gate at some point. I still haven't found a solution for that. Like, technically you just throw the quokkas in here. But yeah, it's also kind of fun. It's really hard to find the quokkas because they blend in very nicely indeed with the environment. There are two of them, like in the middle where the people can have a look. There's none in here. Not really sure where exactly they are. But yeah, I haven't seen them using this little branch over here. I really want to see them go through this little log. I want to see that, but haven't seen this quite yet. But yeah, as you can tell, this is the build, and I like also the path works so wonderfully with that. And I went a little bit more bold with all the plants and stuff, making it really overgrown. And over here you can also just go outside, and then you have another wonderful look into the Tasmanian Devil outlet, even though not really many of them are around. I think there's still one floating in the water. I do have the issue that my devils stuck at some point. I don't know why, but they seem to be stuck as soon as I have them in the habitat. After a while, they're just stuck in one animation. Not really sure if this is a general issue or whatnot, but really not the biggest fan of it. You can tell. But yeah, so that's that with today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed this little tour. Let me just go all the way up here. This was totally not intentional, but here you go. Can we also go up here? Oh, look at that. We are on top of the aviary. Not that I wanted it, but look at that. We can just lie down here. Oh, look at that, beautiful. That is the moment to relax and let this episode be an episode. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna fly out of this cam and then have a look to the island from above. I think now that I see it finished, I think it became really what I envisioned it to be. I know that you guys may have not seen the vision in the meantime, but I think it turned out beautifully. And honestly, this time, yes, I know it was a bit more straightforward as the pieces were intended to be used this way. I just wanted to try it this time around, you know, because for me personally, I figured lately people wanted a bit more simplicity and wanted a bit more straightforward builds in order to get the maximum inspiration, because, you know, not everyone wants to build like super intricate and stuff like that. But yet again, this seems to be an issue as well. So people want to see more intricate builds. So we'll do that again in the future. But for now, this has been it. This is my Oceania Island build. It's done and dusted by now. And I will potentially, I try if I can put this one solely on the workshop. Not today maybe, but I will try to make like a blueprint out of it. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this build. I certainly did enjoy building in here a lot, honestly, a lot. This was super fun, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it too. But that should be it. I hope you guys, as I said, enjoyed it. If you did enjoy, consider subscribing to the channel. You know the drill, blah, blah, blah. You can do whatever you want. Like the video, comment. I mean, obviously, I'll be very happy if you do something to tell the algorithm finally that it should promote my stuff, which it seems to not do, but whatever. I still enjoyed doing this a lot. So have a good time, have a good day, and thank you so much for watching. As always, stay safe and goodbye.